Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 14th, 2022 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At the conclusion of the prayer, please remain standing for a moment of silence for Township resident Jill Altman Russo, who died tragically this past Saturday morning. Please keep her 3 children, Abby, Reagan, and Jesse, and the rest of her family in your thoughts and prayers. Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions that will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Dreese?
Present.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Here. Okay. First item on the agenda, we have a presentation this evening for Citizen of the Year. You might be looking at an agenda that had a Veterans Day Remembrance Proclamation for Doc Shute. Doc's been put off till the next meeting because he could not be here. So I'm going to ask the council to come up with me, and we are going to ask Jay Wozniak to come up. And congratulations. Sorry.
I would hug you.
Mr. J.
So if anybody in the audience wants to take pictures, feel free. But we wanted to, we wanted to present this proclamation to you, Jay, for all your contributions to Pequannock. So I'm going to read the proclamation into the record. Whereas Pequannock Township resident W.J. Wozniak has spent a lifetime in service to his community, and whereas Jay's contributions began way back in Cub Scouts with a project to protect his neighborhood from tent caterpillars, he continued as a high school volunteer, reporting river readings during flood events, and continued to this day. And whereas, as a Pequannock Township employee, Jay was instrumental in obtaining grants, providing information, managing emergencies, and developing programs which continue to benefit the residents of Pequannock in their struggles with local flooding. And whereas Jay has worked both professionally and as a volunteer and leader in organizations which include the Rotary Club, the Historic District Commission, and the Pequannock Township Historic Society on projects that preserve our history, provide recreation opportunities, shape our legislation, and strengthen our services. Now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Melissa Florence Lynch, on behalf of the Township Council and the residents of the Township of Pequannock, does hereby recognize W.J. Wozniak as the American Legion Citizen of the Year for all his contributions to the community of Pequannock.
No, I guess this is I'm very humbled by the award of Citizen of the Year. From the Citizen of the Year Committee, from the American Legion Post 242, and especially from the Township Council, with whom I worked so closely for most of my life. Rotary, I joined Rotary over half of my lifetime ago, 35 years ago, because it meant service above self, and it fit me to a T. Growing up in a community, I was lucky my parents bought a home here a year before I was born, and growing up in this town, it is truly special. People help each other to the nth degree, and sometimes during disasters and tragedies as well, we have celebrations. For example, though, this weekend, the tragedy that occurred, has seen this community pulling together again to help people, and that's what it's all about, service of itself. So thank you.
You're welcome. You got it? Okay.
Yeah,
Everybody, type it.
Let me do one.
Suck it in, everybody.
Wait a second, Patty.
It sucked it.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, really big.
John, is that the best you could do?
Take the lens cap off, buddy.
I have one thing I'd like to say.
One more.
I have one thing I'd like to say after you take the pictures.
Yeah, you may.
Really?
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say that I don't know what Rotary would do without Jay. He is so special to us. He has so much up here, so much history, and I know what he does for the town. I don't know all the details, but I do know what he does for Rotary, and never complains, PV views, pictures, everything. He's everywhere. And we so appreciate everything that you've done. What I just don't understand is how you're able to go into New York every weekend and have
Yeah, 1960. 1960,
I kicked down on my seat. Oh, sorry, John. That's all right.
Rotate.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming. Bye, guys. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Mr. Hamilton, sir?
The chicken truck.
Bye. Thanks for coming. You don't want to stay?
They ran out of food. Chicken truck did? Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, so that was fun. Okay, so next on the agenda is reports from volunteers. At this time, are there reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? Yes, come on up. Is this supposed to be a volunteer comment?
Hi, I'm with Propel. I say my name and where I'm from, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Isabella Basile, and then I'm with Pequannock Township High School, but I'm from Bloomingdale. Can I start?
I'm sorry, could you say your name again?
Isabella Basile.
How do you spell your last name?
Basile.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I start?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So today I came in to tell you guys that the history was made in Greenview Park on Saturday, June 4th, 2022, as Propel Pequannock hosted the first Pequannock Pride Fest. It was presented by Cedar Crest and sponsored by Allied Brothers, Bubba Coos of Lincoln Park, Tilton Medical Center, Love and Lessons Photography, the Pequannock Chamber of Commerce, Rita's Ice, and the Scribble Garden. The event drew over 1,000 residents that were eager to celebrate pride and kindness. There were also GSAs from other schools that came to Pequannock Pride Fest. This day was fun for the whole family. I was able to perform with the stage with Shamrock and my fellow musicians, and I could really feel the love and kindness that was coming from the crowd. The little kids had a blast as well with the music from Melody Mom, the creatures from Rizzo's Wildlife World, and the creations with the Scribble Garden. The PTHS Gay Straight Alliance, whose only ask was to give us a safe place to be, had their booth surrounded by friends, which included Crochet by Mia, the Pequannock Public Library, the Pequannock Township Education Association, PFLAG, the Little Free Library, and Garden State Equality. The GSA had been waiting for a moment like this for a long time, and now they feel as they are finally being accepted for who they are. The Pride Fest was also way more comfortable for the GSA rather than the hoedown or other events. They felt more relaxed and accepted, and they were not worried about being taunted or shamed. And they also raised a few $100s for the Trevor Project that day. We were happy to see Mayor Melissa Florence Lynch read the Town Council's 2022 June Pride Month proclamation from the stage. We are very grateful for the support from the mayor, and it means a lot. We were happy to see the Pequannock Environmental Commission booth as well as Pequannock First Aid and Rescue Squad, and we're impressed with their volunteer dedication. We would also like to thank the police. They really helped to make us feel safe there. Food was plentiful as Jersey Johnny's Mozzarella God and Angelo's wood-fired pizza was enjoyed throughout the day. Rita's Ice also told us that more of their treats were sold than any previous township event. Craft vendors provided visitors with all kinds of cool stuff, which many featured a Pride theme. And adding to the historical significance of the day, Allison Sana, a proud lesbian mom, spoke of her 2022 candidacy for town council, making her the first lesbian to run. The first Pride Fest was definitely something that I was proud to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, anyone else for reports from volunteers? No. All right, next on the agenda is public comment. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please come to the podium and give your name and address for the record. Yes.
Good evening, Paul Mailer, 29 Arundel Road, and President of Propel Pequannock, Pequannock Residents of Pride, Equity, and Leadership. I'd like to share with you some comments we received following the remarkable success of the Pequannock Pride Fest, which was held on June 4th at Greenview Park. Then I'd like to read into the record the thank you note we sent to everyone from the township who was involved. So congratulations on making Pride Fest happen. It felt so good to see so many people, especially the young ones there. Hopefully this event will happen every year and grow. We had a terrific day. Our little free library booth gave away nearly 100 books, and we also had some wonderful conversations with people. Great time at Pequannock Pride Fest. Great music, great vendors, delicious food, and a beautiful, inclusive day. Thank you, Propel Pequannock, and all the sponsors. It seemed like everyone had a great time. I know my friends enjoyed it, and I could tell the Gay Straight Alliance and other booths enjoyed it as well. It was really a wonderful day. Very proud that this group launched the first of hopefully many Pride Fests. It was a perfect day of great music, educational tables, yummy food trucks, and great vendors. The atmosphere was friendly, and I can't wait for the next one. I was so proud to see what this dedicated group of people pulled off for Pride. It truly gives me hope that we can be an inclusive community and make it safe for our LGBTQ youth. And we also sent a note of thanks to everyone from the community, and it read, "Hello all. On behalf of the directors and members of Propel Pequannock, we'd like to thank everyone from the township for your generous support. Saturday's Pride Fest was a remarkably successful day full of great music, family fun, and an overall sense of community kindness." Thank you, Mayor Florence Lynch, for your words of inclusion and for reading the 2022 Pride Proclamation. Your leadership is much appreciated. Thank you, Chief Lyons, for your follow-up note and for all you and your dedicated group of volunteer caregivers do for our community. Thank you, Debbie Maynard, and everyone at the library. Your participation and, more importantly, your voice in the community is very much appreciated. Thank you, Barb Malloy, for hanging in there with us as we navigated our 30 vendors through the process. Your help along the way was invaluable. Thank you, Dave Seigling, for all the effort by your DPW crew. They are a fun bunch. We did a great job with the stage and offering suggestions for handling refuse. We did our best to leave the park spotless. Thank you, Tom Newman, for the fun game at the Environmental Commission booth. I'll be planting those snapdragon seeds with my granddaughter and checking out the Commission's page for gardening tips. Thank you, Chief Commune. We very much appreciate your officers being there. And thank you, Tom Candesano, and everyone in the Health Department for your cooperation both before and during the event. Propel Pequannock's mission is to make the township a more welcoming place for all. The Town Council approving a second Pride Proclamation, along with yesterday's Pride Fest, proves decisively that we're steadily evolving towards that goal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, Megan Dempsey, 10 Della Ave in Pompton Plains. I want to offer my congratulations to the Citizen of the Year. It's great to see somebody with so many wonderful years of service in our community, and appreciate all that he's done for Pequannock. I also wanted to thank Mayor Florence Lynch for attending the Pride Fest and for reading the Pride Proclamation, and thank you to Councilpersons Russell and Cole for also signing that proclamation. I do hope that we will hear the Pride Proclamation for 2022 read at this meeting meeting or at the June 28th meeting. Although it was stated at the Pride Fest that last year's proclamation was read into the record, it does not appear that it was entered into the recorded minutes. The minutes of the May 25th meeting, when that proclamation was read, do not actually reflect anywhere in there that the Pride proclamation was made. So although it is on video, it was never made part of the recorded minutes. But I'm looking forward to that happening with the 2022 proclamation and with it being entered into the record that Mayor Florence Lynch and Councilwoman Russell and Councilman Cole signed the proclamation and support the message and values that it represents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh. Yes, okay. Come on up.
I was Gene Spillane at 18 Cooper Road. I was at Pride Fest. It was very lovely. But I'm here for the Memorial Day Parade. Thank you so much, Town Council. Adam Brewer and I are going to be working together, I think, over lunch in order to come up with kind of a punch list for next year's parade, and thank you so much for the proclamations for Colonel Wojtowicz and Doc Shoup, who called me this morning in a panic. He had to cover down on staff at the hospital he works on. But he will be happy to be here on the 28th.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else for public comment? No? Okay. With that being said, I guess we can move right into our manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Three quick things. There are two in the written report and one additional just to mention as it's up on the township's website. The first item in my report is the Mead Place reconstruction project. This previously had to be rebid due to not including some compliance documents for the federal money that is part of it. So we opened bids on June 2nd. There were 5 submissions. We have a recommendation that has been approved both by the County of Morris and Mr. Osteich and Frank Russo and myself for the Township Council to move forward with Your Way Construction to reconstruct Mead Place for a total amount of $109,541.04, $80,000 of which is supported by, again, federal money. So love doing things with other people's dollars.
Yes, yes.
Segueing right into the next item, I'd like to thank the Pequannock Piranhas. There's been some discussion over the past years about the scoreboard at the swim lanes, and the Piranhas fundraised and submitted a little over half of the cost, a $5,000 donation, to purchase a new swim lane scoreboard, so I extend my appreciation and thanks to them. Great way to work with people to make things happen. Awesome. And lastly, the one item that's not in my written report, it is on the township's website on the homepage with respect to the reassessment. The inspectors are going to begin going around to do the inspections. There's information about names and locations, etc., on the town's website through appraisal systems. So people, if they have questions, please refer to the municipal website. Please refer to appraisal systems website. And ultimately, if you run into a wall, feel free to give me a call. And if I can't find the answer, I'll get somebody who can. That is my report, unless there's any additional questions.
Anybody?
Bravo to the Piranhas.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, next is public hearings. We have a public hearing on ordinance number 2022-11. Ms. Marsh?
Ordinance number 2022-11 is an ordinance fixing the salaries and compensation for the employees of the Teamsters Local Union number 469 of the Township of Pequannock for the period of January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2026.
All right, are there any comments from the council on this?
No.
No? Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have to abstain.
Okay. You can abstain. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And I need a motion to adopt this ordinance.
I'll make that motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-11.
And second?
Second.
Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Abstain.
Mayor Florence Lynch.
Yes. All right, and next on the agenda is the introduction of ordinances. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2022-12 is an ordinance establishing minimum and maximum salaries and pay rates for designated officials and employees of the Township of Pequannock.
All right, Mr. Brewer, do you have any comments on this?
Yes, ma'am. Anybody keeping score will remember we did an ordinance very much like this a little while ago as a result of some transitions among the staff in the finance department. It's my recommendation, if the council sees fit, to add the title Assistant to the Chief Financial Officer to the titles of offering within our salary ordinance. Other than that, the ordinance is identical to the one which was previously adopted this year.
All right, any comments from council on this?
Sounds like a good idea.
All right. Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2022-12.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, next agenda item is resolutions. Ms. Marsh, if I can ask you to read those.
Beginning with Resolution R 2022-124, approving the renewal of the designated alcoholic beverage control licenses. 2022-125, authorizing estimated tax bills in accordance with PL 1994, Chapter 72 for third quarter 2022. 126, amending the 2022 general capital budget to include ordinance 2022-10. 127, certifying that the members of the governing body have reviewed the annual report of audit for the year 2021. R 2022-128, canceling unexpended water capital appropriations balances. 2022-129, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2022 budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:487, that's for the ANJAC grant. 2022-130, awarding a contract for the Mead Place Restoration Project rebid to Your Way Construction Incorporated for the total contract amount of $109,631.04 in accordance with the bid specifications. 2022-131, authorizing release of deposits for construction in a township right-of-way. And R 2022-132, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the June 8th, 2022 bill list.
All right, thank you. Are there any comments on these resolutions from council?
I just want to say kudos to the Environmental Commission because they actually went out and got that grant with, a lot of moving parts in that. But they did a great job. Tom Newman, along with one of the other girls in it, they worked very hard on it. Laurel, they all did. So kudos to the Environmental Commission.
Great.
And do you have anything to say about the tax bills? I mean, you think we're going to...
So the last couple of years, we've done estimated tax bills for the third quarter taxes. The challenge is, in order to have a tax bill with a rate struck by the County of Morris, you have to wait for all municipalities to have their budget completed, and then the county has to set the rate.
So it's not our delay.
It's not our delay. So often what happens is you have a tax bill that goes out 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes even a month late. We have an obligation to collect the taxes for other entities, including the county, school district, etc. So what ends up happening if we don't do an estimated tax bill is we leave ourselves in a cash flow deficit position. So we've done this the last 2 years. It's been within a couple of tenths of % of what it ultimately is in the end. Any balance or credit can be rectified at the fourth quarter bill. So operationally, it just makes a lot more sense for us to be able.
Thanks for clarifying that it's not our delay.
No, it's as a result of the county-wide equalization rate that has to be struck by the Morris County Board.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a... Go ahead, Roy.
All right, thank you. I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution R 2022-124 through R 2022-132.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Right, there's no items on the agenda for discussion, and there's no reports or notices. So I'm going to go right into council reports and announcements, and I'll start with Councilman DeRisi.
Thank you, Mayor. None of my committees have met since we last got together. First thing I want to mention is it's really nice to see how this town comes together. It's unbelievable how quickly it came together after the events on Saturday. So congratulations to everybody. So very nice to everybody in Pequannock for coming together for this, and I know everybody's going to stick around with that family because this is not going to end anytime soon, so that's great to see. I also would like to give a shout out to the police department in the wake of what happened in Texas. People were saying, why are they at the schools? Well, if you didn't listen to the news, I would have been surprised too. So it's great that Chief Commune and his crew stepped up, made everybody feel comfortable, made everybody feel safe. So that was very good to see. So thank you to them. Memorial Day Parade was great. BFW did a great job. Again, it was a beautiful day. Mayor and I went to the Cedar Crest Memorial Day program, which was very, very nice also. So it was a nice program they had up there, and they had a beautiful brass band going, so they played some nice music up there. I heard the girls' high school softball team had a great run in state, so congratulations to them. They always typically do pretty good, so that's good. As we mentioned before, Pequannock Piranha is raising money for the scoreboard down at the lake. That's awesome. You know, kids should get involved and raise money for stuff in town. It makes them feel proud when they're there as well. And the last thing, I just want to thank all the volunteers that serve on the various committees in town. There's a lot of committees, there's a lot of people, spend a lot of time, right? Councilwoman Russell mentioned, the Environmental Commission got those grants together. So I just really appreciate all the work that they do out there in helping the town. There's a lot of smart people in this town, so. And if anybody else wants to help out, we got places for you, so come on down. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Councilman Hurd, can I go to you?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. I have a lot to say.
Okay.
Should I sit back?
You better sit back.
Relax.
So, I had my meeting with First Aid Squad. A couple of basic things to get out of the way. They had 87 calls last month of May. 30% were Cedar Crest. They also won, well, I don't want to say won, but Subaru donated $5,850 to the First Aid Squad, which backed up another donation that they got last year. So that is awesome. Interesting thing, a change in county and state is when they go to a overdose, now they are advised to leave Narcan at the house, that's interesting. And the state is going to fund another set of Narcan, so not only does our First Aid Squad, but other ones will have it riding on their squad, so they can easily give it out and it'll save taxpayers' monies. So that was pretty interesting.
Wait, so they're gonna like, if they go to an OD call, they revive the person with Narcan, and then they leave the other thing of Narcan with the family and show them how to use it and everything?
That is correct. Whether or not there's family there, and whether or not that person chooses not to go to children in our aspect. But yes, they'll leave Narcan there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that can change things.
As long as they know that it expires.
Pardon me?
As long as they know there's an
expiration date on it. True.
Can't leave it out in cold.
Yeah. But with that said, there's a lot said about our first responders. If we're going to pick on First Aid Squad, I'll pick a date. I have all the calls, they organize them. So, for example, on, let's say, May 14th, they want to call at 11 o'clock, and then they got one at 11:16, 11:50, 12:45. It just keeps on going on, and they cover at night, they cover, weekends. I guess the point I'm trying to make is whether it's First Aid Squad, whether it's Company 1, Company 2, whether it's our police, when an event happens in town, they're the first on scene. And a lot of people don't realize that in certain cases, they're volunteers. First Aid Squad, Company 1, Company 2, when we're sleeping in our bed at 2 a.m. in the morning, they're getting a call and they're jumping out and they're getting there. And, sometimes we think it's nice. You're there to help people. Maybe it's my grandmother. Maybe she's having an issue, or, short of breath, or maybe, somebody fell down, a kid fell off his bike. And then there's events like what happened on Saturday. Unfortunately, we had a resident that passed in a horrific accident, and it's a fellow runner. And she just started running. Matter of fact, she was going to do her first marathon in Disney in January. You know, it just goes to show that you don't know what's going to happen. That is a runner's worst nightmare. And for EMS and first aid squad and our police that were on the scene, you can't put into words what you see on that scene, and especially if these people, they're volunteered or they're getting paid, that they keep it together to help all involved. Whether it was trying to save Jill, whether it was helping the kids that were involved, whether it's dealing with the situation, dealing with the traffic, you know, things like that don't normally happen in Pequannock, and yet our first responders step up. So I definitely want to give them kudos. As far as what happened on Saturday, there's still a lot of information that the township is looking into to figure out exactly what happened. The reality is, no matter what happened, it's a horrible incident that has involved multiple families, multiple people. Whether it's Jill's family, she has 3 kids. Whether it's the 2 kids that were on the bike or bikes, whether it is the people that were literally sitting in their house at 8:20 a.m. You know, it goes to show, and I challenge everybody to live every day as if, because you just don't know. You know, in her case, I can presume it was a beautiful Saturday morning. Maybe she was going to run Rotary on Sunday. Maybe she was just running out for a quick 3-miler. Beautiful morning, just get out. You know, she was thinking about herself. She was losing weight. She was doing great. And that happens. So, I just want to give a heartfelt thank to all of our first responders. I want to remind everybody that, you know, any day can be your last day. Make sure you never leave the house without telling your loved one, your kids, your better half, that you love them, and hopefully we'll all get to see them at a later date. So, that is all I have to say there, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Councilman Cole.
From Company 1, President Gene McEwen, they had the exterior of their building power washed, and they'll be installing new floors in the hallway and the meeting room over the summer, and that is, you know, coming out of their general funds that they get from donations. So Gene made it clear that, you know, he thought that the building needed a little TLC, so they're doing it. So they're cleaning up the backyard there. He said there was a lot of stuff back there that shouldn't be back there, so he wants it cleaned up. They formed all these different committees to get these things done. So I missed the Company 2 meeting, and I felt guilty that I missed the Company 2 meeting, so I paid for dinner for that night for Company 2. They usually collect $2 whenever you get out for dinner, but
Company 1's going to tell you not to come next time.
dinner was on me. I was in Canada for a wedding that night, so, for that weekend. VFW did a great job for the Memorial Day Parade. It was a fantastic day, a beautiful day. Seemed like there was a great crowd that came out. I think people really wanted to come out to a parade, being that it's been a while since they've been able to, you know, come out and enjoy a beautiful day and a beautiful parade. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Councilwoman Russell.
Yes, just to echo what everybody else said, Memorial Day Parade was amazing. It was well run. It was a great day. It was great to see all the people out. My heart goes out to Jill and her family. I pray that what John said, people came together for Jill's family. They're going to need us there for a while. So it can't just be like we're here and then we're not here. And we pray for her soul and everybody that was affected, because there is a lot of families affected. Small business grant is still available if you have a small business in town and you haven't applied for the grant. You're shaking your head. Did you do it? Tell me you did it. I'm coming to your place, and we're just going to sit down and we're going to do it together. Parks and Rec, somebody made a comment about the trees by the water tower. I think they're still alive, but I don't know. They had a comment about it, so I just said I would mention it.
By the new water tower?
Some trees by the old one.
Oh, the old
By
one?
the old water tower. Some dates. PV Park Party is June 18th from 12 to 3. The fireworks are June 24th. Food Truck Festival at PV Park is July 9th from 11 to 5. That's free for Lake members, $8 for non-members. The Senior Olympics is September 21st in West Milford. And the Hoedown is October 15th from 11 to 5. And there's also, what are they calling it? The Street Fair, which is now at PV Park, is on 9/11. The library meets tomorrow. They are having a concert on July 15th. And the Guthrie Brothers will perform for an hour, then they're going to have other performers. And they were very appreciative of your thank you letter, Mr. Mueller. So they mentioned that in their report, that they were appreciative. They said they didn't put it out, but I heard it now. But they said they were appreciative of it. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, I also wanted to thank the American Legion Post for organizing a beautiful ceremony for Memorial Day and for organizing and running the parade. It was wonderful to honor and remember those who gave their lives in service to their country. I mentioned that Doc Shoup will be honored at our next council meeting. He was one of our speakers at the Memorial Day ceremony and helped honor our township's fallen heroes. As was mentioned, John and I attended a memorial service up at Cedar Crest as well. Congresswoman Sherrill was also in attendance, and it was a beautiful ceremony. I married 2 couples this past weekend, so congratulations to Victor and Olga. They were from Lincoln Park, and Jason and Ashley from Pequannock. As was mentioned, I went to the Pride Festival at Greenview Park. It was a really nice day and a very successful event, so kudos to you guys for organizing that. Pequannock Valley Rotary, they had a successful 5K run at Greenview Park, and the rain held out for the most part. It rained a little bit, but not too bad. And there were well over 200 runners there, and it was a successful event for the club's fundraising efforts, where they raise money and give it back to the communities. And congratulations to our Citizen of the Year, Jay Wozniak. Thank you for all your contributions to our community. If you didn't see the email yet, there is a grand opening at Just Salad on June 17th from 4 to 6, and the ribbon cutting will be at 5 p.m. As was mentioned, the fireworks for our town will be Friday, June 24th at 8 p.m., and the rain date is the next day on Saturday. Councilwoman Russell mentioned about the small business grants. I have that on my agenda here as well. There are still small business grants available, and they can't give the money away fast enough. You can get up to $15,000. I forwarded the information again to EDC and to Jim Sardo for Chamber and asked him to send it out again, because there's a nice link on there with just step-by-step instructions. It's not that hard to do, so please look at that. It's worth it. It's worth doing if you had some losses in that time frame. And I also wanted to say that our community is so saddened by the sudden death of Jill Russo, who leaves behind 3 children. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and I too am so proud about the way the community has come together to help this family. There's a GoFundMe page that's organized if you'd like to donate. It would be very appreciative. I know the community is doing everything they can, and was mentioned, they're going to need our help for a long time, this family. Okay, and also thank you to the first responders. They are amazing. And the next day, they were out there again. Some of the same people that were on that call the day before were out at the Rotary Run the next day doing their job. So kudos to all of them. All right, that's all I have. So next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone would like to address the council, please raise your hand and come up. Anyone? Okay. So next on the agenda, we have some minutes for approval. I believe we have the May 24th regular meeting, and we have the March 1st and March 8th budget workshop meetings. We have those minutes to approve as well.
February.
So,
And February 19th, right?
We did February 19th last time.
all right. Are there any comments on the minutes that were circulated? Everybody read them?
Yep.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March 1st, March 8th, and May 24th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next on the agenda is a closed session discussion. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2022-133, authorizing the Township Council to meet in executive session to discuss personnel matters?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, at this time, the public portion